Hello and welcome to 4,000 and Counting, brought to you by Hurricane e-bikes. I'm Watty, this is Mark, and today we are joined by Panthers legend Gui Lepine. This man picked up, I think it was 8 trophies whilst with the Nottingham Panthers, just finished up in the LNAH, and we were talking just off air about obviously, you're a tough man, you played a certain way. The Quebec Major Junior League have just announced new suspensions for fighting, and they're trying to take it out of the game. What do you think on that as an ex as a player first of all, and like as a tough guy? Do you agree, disagree?
I disagree. Obviously, I think it will be uh, it will be stupid to say that I'm against fighting. But I think politicians got in the matters. I think they want to look good in front of the population. Um, you look at the stats in the queue for the last few seasons. There's barely any fights in the league, and now they want to ban it. So I mean, it's almost they're doing nothing. They just want to look good in front of. They want to get votes, right? So, but yeah, it's gonna bring everyone. They're gonna use their stick more. They're gonna splash. They're gonna do whatever they want. They won't be accountable of their actions, and that's the downside of banning fighting. I think the fighting part of the game just kept everyone honest. Now you're taking that away. Uh, what's gonna those kids gonna move up to play pro hockey in some days, hopefully, and they're gonna show up in the ECHL, AHL, or maybe in the NHL. They're gonna do something stupid and they won't know about how to defend themselves. So that's the down part of things. It's
What
like I
about
say,
star? What
I
about star players? Are they going to now become a bit more of a target? Are they potentially? Are they potentially
well,
like bringing it on themselves as a league where you're going, hey, you might as well just chop this guy. You might as well just cross check him from behind because there's no 6'4" monster anymore that's going to come and hold you accountable. So you can just crack on.
exactly. I mean, there's nothing stopping you now. Just it's. I think the next step, to be honest, I'm thinking in a few years they're gonna wear a full cage for the protection, and the next step, I don't know what's gonna be. It's gonna be maybe some air mattresses on their shoulder because it's too dangerous. So I don't know. It's we want to protect so much everything that now it's too much. I believe like let the kids play. It's a game that we've been playing for so many years. It's part of the game. Injuries happen. So
That's it. And with the rise in injuries, that'll be interesting with the new regulations as to the increased percentage with the injuries in comparison to when fighting was around. I think that'll be noticeable.
it will be interesting. I mean, guys are flying now down on the ice. That's what the main problem. They took out the hooking penalties and they didn't want any obstruction because they want more speed. They want more exciting hockey. But guys are flying, and when you're flying, you hit someone, it hurts a lot more than getting a punch in the face. So that's my point of view on that.
Well, when I was playing in the EPL, and the fans over here remember that kind of hockey. A lot of it was, you get the puck, it goes deep, two guys go hard. Your job back then as a F1 was to fucking hold up. You fucking
Yep,
give the guy a little wait, just so your D
you get a
man
little
doesn't get
second.
fucking killed into the boards. And then I remember
Yep,
the year they took it away. Honestly, it was carnage. D guys that have been getting like hold up the whole time, their whole career, all of a sudden are just getting smoked by guys that are just coming and
we used to
dangerous.
practice. I remember in junior we used to practice holding up a guy to give your defenseman the chance to pick up the puck and wheel the net. Now you can't do that. So guys are a lot more faster than what it was to be. So that's why injuries happen.
Do you think the Q will end up backtracking, or I think it
No,
ended up being 19 of the clubs, if I believe, which is nearly all of them, if not all of them. They voted to go with this rules. So politics or not, the clubs and politics seem to be kind of hand in hand.
yeah, I think if they backtrack, they'll lose some funding, and they won't be able to survive. So I think that rule is there to stay. I won't be surprised in, like I said, in a few years they wear cages because some kid's gonna take a puck in the face and gonna lose a few teeth, and some politician's gonna be in the stands and say, "Oh my God, why this kid doesn't have a full visor on?" But it is what it is. I'm not in the league anymore, so
I'm not being funny. Like, this kid might be on a fucking farm or something otherwise. Working in the mill, working on the farm. Like, instead he's playing hockey. Those farms and stuff are dangerous places to be. If you're a teenage guy growing up, like you're gonna do stuff. Stuff's dangerous like that. And injuries happen, but I don't think they need to water it down anymore, because ultimately what these guys are training to do is go to the NHL. If they are good enough, if they get the break, whatever it may be, if they get the opportunity, that's what they're trying to do. And if you've got no experience, it's so dangerous. My
agent brings me every year. He get his young kid who's about to go junior major, and he's probably not going to do it anymore, but he used to bring me on the ice with them for 45 minutes an hour, and just to teach them how to protect yourself in case you get a fight. I never teach a kid how to knock the other guys out, but if you happen to be in a fight, how are you going to protect yourself? And we spent 30 minutes to 45 minutes with every kid that they were gonna be ready to be in junior major before training camp. Skilled guy, strong defenseman, everyone. Just protect yourself. There's a way that you can get in a fight without getting hurt. And if those kids will know that, I mean, where's the danger?
Well, what would be the main things you're trying to teach them there? Would it be grabs, feet positions?
Grabs, yeah. Just grab the sleeves, put yourself in a good position, put your head up, protect yourself with your shoulder. So all those little things that if you happen to run someone, or you just said the goalie, someone jump you, you know how to react, you know how to protect yourself, you don't get injured, and you did your job. And I told them too, like, a lot of kids we're going in training camp. It's like, you know what? If one of you guys get a run, it might be a good thing that you're the first one to jump in, and just drop your glove, grab the sleeve, do your thing. Don't get punched. Don't get hurt. Everyone loved it. Everyone, you look good. You might do a little step to make that team,
You had some time in the Quebec Major Junior League yourself. In fact, you had like 5 seasons there. You're obviously known for being tough. Was it expected of you going in that this is part of the role you're going to have to play to be on the team, or was it ever talked to? Because obviously still it's the early 2000s when you were going through your junior career. Hockey was still a very tough place to be.
I think that when I got in the league, I made a team because I defended some players, and but there was never expectation for me to be number 1 or even number 2. I was there being able to play my game. If shit happens, I'm going to be able to defend myself and defend my teammates. But I think in junior major, I don't think I passed 8 fights a season. I had my regular shift playing D. I was fighting, like I said, for about 7 to 8 times a year, do my job. But yeah, the expectation, it was more when I turned pro that the switch kind of clicked, that if I want to play and have a career, I'm going to have to do that more consistently.
How much did playing in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, because it's always been known as like the physical junior league back in the day, how much did it being physical sort of prepare you for jumping up into sort of the big boy leagues?
It was tough. I remember when we played against the Bécomo, they had a tough team, and in playoff we had to get to the warm-up zone. We had to get in their zone and turn, and then our zone was on.
It's always a bad.
So they will wait for us with all their tough guy, and so we like bumping each other, and they were tough. There were some guys who I think, break records for fightings, and they had like 6 legit like heavyweight. But it was a different era. I think I got in maybe just after the really like meathead, like the very dangerous stuff. But it was still there was at least one per team, if not 2, that were there for the heavy stuff.
I want to cast your mind back to 2004, 2005. You ended up playing this just popped out to me on Hockey DB. You played with Stanislav Lasic, who obviously went on to. He's playing in Victor Dynamos. I think they just announced him. He's still going. What was Stano like back then? Because I heard when he first came to like the fucking EPL, he was an absolute beauty.
He was good. He was good. He could pass the puck like
72 apples that year.
Yeah, we had 2 Slovak in that year. As Marek Zagrapan was his first round pick in Buffalo. Those kids were good. It's a shame that I think that Lasic was not a really good skater, but damn, he could see the ice and make some plays. And Zagrapan was the opposite. He was just flying down the wing. So yeah, good guy, funny guy.
Oh wow! The following season, Stano's points in the 2005-2006 season: 64 games, 47 goals, 88 assists, 135 points. Holy fuck!
That was a good season.
Crazy numbers, man. Oof.
That year we were supposed to win everything, and we ended up losing in second round of playoff. But he was playing too with David Desharnais on that line, and we had Maxime Boisclair, who's a big, strong power forward in front of the net. They had some really, I think Boisclair scored 70 goals or something that year with Nano, and Desharnais just feeding him.
What was the overall standard of the queue like throughout your time there? Was it like your superstars and then you kind of glue guys and then you kind of role players, and within teams, were all the teams fairly well matched, or were there like quite clear dominant teams and then like lesser?
It's the queue is like a cycle of 4 years. So you hopefully you get a very good draft, and then in 4 years it's your year that you have to go for championship, and it's always a cycle of that 4 years. So when it's your year, like the year that Dano did 130 points, that was our year number 4 that we were going for it. So the team really brought some good players in, but I think everything, the fourth line was just meathead dude. The only goal was to put the puck down and just run. But then the top 3 line were like really good lines that could play hockey.
When you were in the queue, were you any of you guys at school or doing anything, or were you all full-time junior athletes? Yeah, at school too? Yeah,
we had to do schools. And every team that I played, they were taking school pretty seriously. It started to bring a teacher in the bus. So, because the trips are pretty long. We have some 24+ hour road trip when we go to the Maritimes and stuff. But so they will bring a teacher in a bus, and we get to the hotel, and you have to do an hour of school. But the schedule is so hard. It was hard to manage both. I was not the best student, so I was going to school just to pass, and
get out of
pretty
Dodge.
much it. Yeah.
How many times you're on the ice per week then at that level with studying?
Every day, probably 1 day off a week.
Yeah.
Gym session was not as big as it is now, I believe. But yeah, every day, probably Monday off because we just play all weekend, but the rest were on the ice. I know because I played in 2 Quebec, like French cities. So the English guy, if they were not going to school, they had to practice twice a day. So they will have a practice in the morning and one in the afternoon with the rest of the the guys. So you wanted to go to school.
Yeah, just to get some rest for the legs. Jeez, that's a fucking tough grind of a season.
Yeah.
2 days and then like 60 games.
Yeah.
You obviously, your point production started to creep up in your last couple of years there. Was that something that you obviously your first couple of years, 10, 14, then you're up like 22, 19 points. Are you starting to get a bit more of a feel for the offensive side? You feeling more confident, or is it just like
Not really.
no,
Not really.
a couple of lucky ones?
I couldn't remember one goal of those. So, but no, I think it just happened. Sometimes it's depending of your D partner, the line you're matched with. Obviously, I've always been more of a defensive side of playing against the top line, but I think it just happened. I didn't add more power play time in those years, so from the first to the fourth, my power play time stayed there.
It's absolutely zero. Yeah. Who were the kind of guys that you most enjoyed playing against throughout your 4 years there? Because obviously, there's quite a host of NHL guys coming through the Quebec League all the time. Who was the kind of big dogs in the 4 years you were there?
Well, there's a guy. I don't know if you heard about him. Sidney Crosby, first year. Yeah. I remember the coach brought us 4D and said, "Okay, tonight you guys are taking care of Crosby." Okay, first game against him, like I just made the team, but yeah, he was good, really good, and I had a good challenge too against Alexander Radulov in Quebec. Me and him always had a little competition, like always battle hard to each other. But yeah, that was another very, very good player who could make plays and fast too. So you always take care of when they were on the ice to make sure you're behind them, so it doesn't creep out of behind you.
What was it like getting to play against it? Was it inevitable when you played against him there that he was going to go on and just do what he's done?
Oh yeah. There's a no-brainer. It was just another level. The way he see the ice, the stuff he will do on the ice. Yeah, and I mean, no surprise, we saw the career he's having, and still the stuff he's been doing is just incredible. So.
Yeah, what a savage. Mark, go on, sorry, mate.
Yeah, moving on. When you went into the East Coast with the reputation you'd made in juniors, had the reputation carried on into the East Coast? Did you have people sort of like staring you down in warm-up or anything?
No, I think I mean, the reputation in junior, I was not known really for a tough guy. I was known for hard man, could fight, but nothing.
It was tough to play against and hard to play against.
But it was when I started playing in the East Coast that I think my first training camp, I beat up one or two guys, and then from there, it's just all right. This guy's gonna do the job. So I end up leading the league for a rookie with fightings and stuff. Yeah, my hand was like just one knuckle an entire year because it was one after another. And we had a really tough team too that year. So we had a coach who enjoyed that a lot, and we ended up doing pretty well. But I think that's where my reputation has kind of started. And I kind of realized if I wanted to stay in that league and move up, that was something I'm gonna have to do.
The money's notoriously like not fantastic in the East Coast.
Yeah,
you're talking about your hands being beaten up. Ultimately, it was a plan to fucking smash a few faces and then get called up to the A. Was that the game plan or?
Yeah, it's always a game plan. I mean, yeah, I think every player in that league, they want to move up. No one want to stay in that league. And well, there's maybe like a few guys, like the bottom guys, who are happy to be in the league because that's the highest they're gonna go. But everyone else is just, you got the NHL guys, NHL contract guys who got cut from the AHL or that level, or they're pissed off, but they want to move up as quick as possible. They've got the ECHL or dreaming of getting in the AHL, and you got the bottom who are just happy to be there because they're from the lower SPHL or FHL, whatever other league. But so everyone's kind of fighting to move up, and that's a good thing because you keep the guys accountable a little bit.
Are you surprised you had to go to the EIHL to get a call up to the A or what? For 3 years in England and then you get your fucking AHL call up. What's that about?
I mean, after 2 years in the ECHL, my agent told me, he's like, I didn't have the most ice time in the ECHL. I was more maybe defense number 5 or 6. They're always on the lineup just in case shit goes down. But my ice time was not great. So that's my agent told me, you know what, you need to play some big minutes. Let's go to the UK. Yeah, he spoke with all Cloutier at that time, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna have some big minutes there. I'm not gonna be there to be number 1 as fighter, blah blah blah. And that was the plan. It was to go there a year and then come back in North America to try to move up. I just end up being 3 years old. Yeah, well, after my first year, it was, okay, I need probably another year will be better. And then the third year, the lockout happened, so I kind of got screwed there. There was no job available down in North America because all the NHL guys just went down to the A. But and ended up being a year that we won everything. So
how was it playing with Danny Myers as captain?
It was good. It was good. Danny and I were like partner most of the time on the ice too. So we developed a good relationship. Danny's great, funny, and we had a good time. We had a good team. I mean, all my years in Nottingham, I really enjoyed it. So it was good.
You're always going to be a fan favorite, though, going there, considering you're off the back of, I think it was 19 fighting majors and a preseason fight. And we love fights over here in the UK, as you've probably learned coming here.
Yeah. I mean, when I signed, I knew the league was tough. Then I knew there were some good fighters. Obviously, I think that year there was McMorrow when Panther was signed, and everything had won. My goal was not to get to the team and be number 1. I wanted to be number 2 so I can have more ice time and develop myself. So when we spoke with team at the beginning, I think my agent spoke with Belfast and Nottingham, and then they wanted me to probably be number 1, and Paul happened, and at Paul, like Cloutier wanted me to play. So that's why we end up there at first before they folded, and I end up in Nottingham. But by that time they signed Alex Penner, so I was going there number 2. It was perfect match for everyone.
How was it playing with fucking Weapon X? What a beauty!
It was wild. It was wild.
Jeez, he's a wildcat.
He was wild. I mean, he knew his job. He was really good at it. But you never knew what to expect from him. He will show up when he show up, and then do the job. He was different. Yeah, he's not a different cat, but he was wild. I think the perfect description. So.
I'm looking through the kind of the top pin boys for that season, and one name jumps out at me, which brings out a story that we've got to get into. My former teammate, absolute fucking beauty, and head case, Mr. Brad Cruikshank himself, Coventry Blaze, Nottingham Panthers in the Skydome. Shank is getting kicked out the game from the box, and he decides, fuck this, let's cause mayhem on Sky Sports. Goes for the goalie, goalie ducks him, guys are chucking hands, and then Simsy's like, cameraman, cut to center ice. It's the big one. It's Lepine and Robinson, and he's fucking losing his mind. Mate, talk us through that, because as Mark said, we love this shit. As an ex-player, I love to play that way. That was perfection of
classic clip.
I was on the bench when everything happened, and I'm not even looking at Cruikshank getting toughed up. But Stevie Lee was beside me, and then he's the first one out. So I'm right inside. I saw Stevie just move, like skating away, boom. So I'm out. By the time I get out the door, their goalie is skating towards all where Kowalski and Cruikshanks are. And he ended up being the first guy I kind of run past with. So I don't know what his name, but I body checked him. So we don't see that on camera. So I body checked the goalie. Robinson comes in, we're squaring off. While I square off, I got my helmet in my hand. Their goalie stand up and start skating towards me. So instead of just, I'm like, well, might as well. So I throw my helmet right in his face. He's still wearing his goalie equipment, so it didn't hurt him, but so I throw that in his face. Robo and I start squaring off. Still happening down there. We're kind of talking like, all right, let's have a clean one. Let's do our job. We did our stuff. We finished it. I'm not even sure if the referee kind of stopped us or just.
No, you boys kind of just went the distance and that was it, right?
Yeah, we did our stuff. We did clean fight. Went to the penalty box, and that's why their goalie came back and started challenging me in the penalty box. I tried to rip. So now I rip his helmet up, and I was that close. I was leaving that box, but at that time I already had like 2 or 3 suspension, right? So I'm on thin ice right there, and then the next one is probably gonna be a 4 or 5 and maybe 10 games up. So I stayed in that box, and then Danny Meyer just ran him.
Yeah, he did actually. Yeah,
it was good, but end up not having any games on that scrum. So I got kicked out, but that's it. It
couldn't
fun.
have been any fairer, right? Your actual fight, it couldn't have been any fairer. Like both guys squared up. No one took cheap shots when the other one was on the floor. There was no bullshit. It was just a fucking good square go, and it was awesome.
I mean, I never met Robinson, but it seems to me he's a good guy too. Big, strong fighter that had to do the job because he was big and strong. He was tough, but a lot of respect.
That was him. That was his elbow. I was like 16, cut across the blue line in the old Lee Valley when he was playing for London. And I look up about here, and as I look, because you have to wear the fucking grill, right? Because I'm only 16.
Oh yeah.
The head hits that, and obviously as soon as that hits your face, you're screwed. But I remember like the weight of that elbow hitting there. I was like, he is a big human. How did it feel to fucking eat any of his punches?
I'm not sure if he connects any
clean ones.
Been a while, but yeah. But you could feel it, like when someone's strong, when you grab them, he's like, oh, fuck, I won't be able to move that guy. He was a little older too, so sometimes you get that old man strength. But it was, and now it's fun to see I think every year I get this popped up on my Facebook or YouTube, whatever it is. It's like 10 years anniversary of that brawl, and I watch it again. It's a good time.
What about Brad Voth? He was kind of in the league at that time. Did you ever mix it up with Brad? And can you talk about
I tried.
In your time? Is there many more players that were kind of the more complete? He was the leader. He could score. He could fight. He won trophies. At that kind of time in the Elite League, he was one of the guys that kind of had a bit of everything.
He was a dangerous guy in that little ice in Cardiff. But every time I tried to fight him, I challenged him a lot, and he never wanted to do it.
Was that frustrating for you?
Maybe at the time, yeah. Like, because he would run and will injure players. He could skate. He was big, strong. But I think he might have been in that time of his career that he was done fighting. He died. I think it was probably at the end of his career too when we play against. But I never managed to get a hold of him and punch him. Really.
I like that. Just get a hold of him and punch him. There was plenty of tough guys, and obviously it wasn't just the tough guys. You guys had plenty of skill guys. What was it like having Jake Galbraith in the locker room? Because Mizey told me some funny stories about playing with Jake. And just like
Yeah,
having to try and fucking keep the man on like a semi leash just so he would go out there and do his thing.
I mean, Jay was a hell of a player, probably one of the best players playing that league at that time. So, but he was a wild card too. So we need to kind of manage. Time was different too back then. I feel like the guys could go out and party more than come back in the ring, and I feel that the entire league was doing the same thing. So no one was like super serious, and then all the rest of the league are partying and drinking more. Maybe the schedule was better. I feel during that time we could go out more often than my last 2 years in the UK. Probably, I don't know if there was more game or less game or whatever, or the schedule was fit that we had more like Saturday nights. But yeah, I mean, Jake, there's a few times I think we had to go pick him up at his apartment, or he just never show up for practice because didn't feel like it. Just basically, I think in one day it was his birthday, and he didn't show up for practice. And it's like, yeah, I didn't feel like it. It was my birthday. Like, well,
And
man,
then get like 3+4
a,
at the weekend because he's a fucking
yeah, exactly.
savage.
So we couldn't stay over really, but it's my birthday. I don't feel like practicing today.
And another guy you played with, and he's been talked about, God, as one of the best minor leaguers ever. Lost an eye, probably cut his NHL chances down. David Beauregard. I played against him. The guy can snipe like no other. What was it like getting to play against that? Play with him. Sorry.
Well, Bo and I were very close, right? So we spent all the years together. We're probably much the only two French guy in the team, so we spent a lot of time together. Even the last time for a Matthew Myers testimonial, we flew together. We spent a week together. It was a really good time. But Bo's a character. He got some stories for days, and
need to get him on here then.
Yeah. Well, you're better plan a few hours of the podcast, but he got some great stories, and just a good guy, just a good human that it's fun to be with. He teach me playing poker, and I quit after a few times, but he will play like poker. He'll watch a game, NHL game on the screen. Got like 4 or 5 poker game going, and looking at my screen on the internet and tell me what to do too. Like, okay, yeah, you should fold this one. Okay, well, and it's just a machine, but such a good guy.
Your 2012-13 season, the Grand Slam winning season with the Panthers.
Madness.
I want to talking of characters and guys I've always assumed were funny. What was it like playing with David Ling?
Oh boy,
he was your top point scorer that season as well.
Top point scorer, dangerous on the ice. I think everything was scared of him, and they should be, because he will use his stick as a weapon. Like, no problem with it. His stick was the weapon for him. Oh yeah. I'm glad that he said it. But
yeah, he did, mate. He didn't give a shit.
And he will just keep everyone accountable. He will tell you right in his face, right in the locker room, that one of his favorite sentence will be, and like, "Hey, Guy, can't play 2 bad games in a row, eh?" Just laugh. And then he was right, because you play like shitty games the night before, and then you're like, fuck, I cannot play another bad game. Linger's gonna call me out again. But keep everyone accountable. Just good player, but dangerous.
So we had who did we have on? God, I can't think. Sorry, yeah, I can. Most recent podcast guest, Nat Halbert, played for GB under Corey. It was his first experience for Corey. We asked him how it went, and well, the fact that you're laughing means you know already how it went. How was it playing for Corey? Obviously, you guys were part of a fucking super successful spell there.
Oh yeah.
So obviously that probably makes things a little easier. But how was it playing for Corey as a whole? He's a pretty intense human.
I mean, when I first started, Corey was player coach. So for me, that was the first to having a player coach. So
Reggie
first it
Dunlop.
was kind of weird. Yeah. So at first it was kind of weird that coach is telling me what to do, but then you're seeing what he's doing on the ice is not doing it too. So, and you made a bad pass, and no, he didn't never scream at me, but he tell you like pick your shit up or whatever, like, and then you throw an absolute pizza in the middle of the ice, and we get score on, and you're like look at him like, come on, man. But good thing he was good. He was a good player.
Yeah, he was.
He put himself on the power play for 2 minutes, but he kind of deserved it. He couldn't say too much.
Player coach special, mate. It doesn't matter what level it is. If you're a player coach, you're playing 2 minutes on the PP.
Well, I've been player assistant coach. I didn't put myself on the PP, but it's too much work anyway. So yeah,
It wouldn't be
Corey is Corey. Go ahead.
It wouldn't. Go on.
No, go on, Matt.
Oh, sorry, I couldn't hear very good. I was going to say it wouldn't be a Panthers chat without mentioning David Clark. What was it like with him?
Dad.
British legends.
Just such a gentleman, just a good human. It's one of the guys that I stay pretty close to still now. Just a good guy. Fun to be with. We're still, like I said, we still talk. We still chat a few times every month. He was such a good player. He could snipe from everywhere. I feel all the big goals was always coming from him. So it's just a money maker. And it was fun to see him when I went for Matthew's testimonial again. All the boys down there, we spent so much time together. We won so many trophies that we have a bond that trophy creates, and that's very special with all those players.
One of my favorite questions whenever we get an import on. What's your first experience like walking in the change room and playing with a bunch of the British boys for the first ever time that you laid your eyes on some of these beauties? Because if you look around the league, some of the biggest fucking absolute beauties are the British boys. All the imports that come over, love playing with them. What's your kind of first experience of walking into the locker room and like coming into this culture?
I mean, at first I couldn't understand them, so that was the problem. But I end up, I mean, in Nottingham, the Brits were a pretty tight group that will take care. They're just good people. They will take care of all the imports, bring you to lunch, show you the town. And I mean, they mixed in with everyone so rapidly that you feel like you've been playing with those guys forever. And obviously, during my first day, I was roommate with Stevie Lee, so we end up being pretty close. End up spending a lot of time together. And we still like Clarky, and we still in contact pretty much every month. But just a bunch of good guys who are funny, love to have a good time. They're always ready to. I mean, they'll never miss a team party or team event. I mean, they're the one creating it most of the time. So it creates a good bond for a good team building for the team. So I think they are a big part of the success of a team. You need some good Brits to have success in that league. And if you can manage to keep a good core for a lot of years, I think it helps a lot.
What happened from a player's perspective? Obviously, you come off winning all these trophies, and then in the 2012 season, Danny Myers leaves and joins the Sheffield Steelers. You lose the captain. What was kind of the talk in the group chat, and how much did you boys know that what was going on? Like, were you in contact with Myers? Were you in contact with the club? Were you boys been kept in the loop?
No, I think it was more like a player management decision. So probably Corey with Gary and the direction who decided that they wanted to bring Jonathan Weaver. So it was two good Brits. I think they couldn't manage to get both of them, so they needed to pick one. They felt more that we could win with Weaves. tough decision. Obviously, Danny was there.
Go further, go faster, get fitter. Subscribe today. Hurricane e-bikes have a great range of bikes available on the e-bike subscription plans. The Cruiser e-bikes are perfect for beach rides, long distance rides, or just everyday use. The Fat Bike e-bikes look great and can cope with the toughest terrain, perfect for off-road adventures. The hybrids range are perfect for about town, everyday use and leisurely rides with the family. Take your ride to the next level with the mountain bike and get ready for your next power-assisted adventure.
Tough decision. Obviously, Danny was there. Has been there for a lot of years during that time, but it's the sad part of the hockey business, unfortunately.
It actually seems like a bit of a genius decision because the following season you win the Grand Slam.
Yes, it's hard to argue with that decision now.
I mean, hindsight's lovely, but I mean, it wasn't like you were ever far away. 2011, you won the cup and the playoff. 2012, you won the cup and the playoff.
Back to back.
So it wasn't like Myersley
Yeah.
was doing a shit job and Weaves was like this superhero. But when you have the balls to let go a captain who's, there you go, just brung you 4 trophies in 2 seasons, but then you go on and win 4 trophies the following season, you're justified in the decision making.
Yeah, and they were also bringing another good leader in that team. So yeah, we're losing a captain, but we're bringing another guy with a lot of experience. So it was, like I say, it was a management decision. It was not well, it never comes from the player anyway. So, but at the end of the day, I think it was the right thing to do.
I jokingly said a few minutes back that you had to go to the EIHL to get your call up to the A, but it was that next season after 3 seasons in the Elite League, you went back to the coast, you finally get your call up, you play 6 games. The following season, you then split 35 games in the coast, 38 games in the A, and then the next couple of seasons, you're like a bona fide AHLer. So talk us through that kind of rise through the ranks from getting back off that plane from Nottingham to finding yourself an AHL regular.
Well, yeah, before the end of the season in Nottingham, I remember getting an offer from an ECHL team it was, I mean, good money for that league, and I mean, it was always the plan of going back anyway, so it kind of makes sense that year to go back. But I think my called up ended up being in late December, maybe January. So at that time, I'm kind of thinking of my next move. I mean, I'm in the ECHL. It's been a few months. Nothing's happening. I'm playing well, but the call's not coming. And I'm pretty sure, if I remember right, I was starting to have some offers elsewhere in Europe. And I started to think about it. And then that phone call came after a game that, the next tomorrow you're flying in and you're going to meet the team. And I think it was in Chicago with Utica. So very happy to finally get it. And I was not going to waste my opportunity. I just, first game, got the biggest guy on the other team and went to challenge him. Second game, I ran someone, dropped it again, and the third game I got the good old pat on the shoulder. It's like, we're down to 5D, so you can't go tonight. But I think they appreciate it. They appreciate they kept me for a few. Even if I only played 6 games, I was there for like 2 months, I think. So it was good.
So you're getting experience. You're kind of like a black ace almost. You're training. You're doing all these things. Yeah. Playing games here and there.
Well, I was like number 6, 7 mostly. So waiting for someone to get injured to be back in the lineup. But it was a good time. I was happy to be in that league. And then the following year,
you get the C, eh?
I got the C in the coast. I got invited to the Ottawa Senators training camp. End up doing the training camp in the AHL. I firmly believe they wanted to keep me there that year. It was a contract matter that they didn't have any contract for me, so I ended up being in the coast, got named captain, and then the first opportunity came. pretty late in the season too, and that time I was still thinking about moving elsewhere because I didn't want to play in the Coast for the entire season. And when I got called up in Binghamton, they told me we've been trying to call you up for a while now, but I was finally there. And after a week, I had a contract in my pocket to finish the year up there and the following year. So did something well to my first few games there.
You must have had some fun in Binghamton then, looking at some of the guys you've played with there. Nick Paul, Curtis Lazar, Colin White, who's currently battling it out for the Panthers in the Stanley Cup. Man, you've got some names on there. How was it playing with these guys?
Todd Bertuzzi, my first 2 games too.
Todd.
Absolute legend.
Sick.
Yeah. I'm just looking through your rosters,
Yeah, I first called up. Todd Bertuzzi was trying to make a comeback in hockey, and we ended up spending time at the hotel and restaurant together. And he ended up only playing a game and a half because his knee couldn't handle it anymore.
He was -3 in those 2 games.
Yeah, but what a guy! He's just a pure old school guy. It was good to spend time with him and heard his crazy stories. But there's some good players who end up. Nick Paul was at the beginning of his pro career. Curtis Lazar was he was coming from a season. He played his first season in the NHL and then ended up going down for a little. It was supposed to be a week, ended up being a few more games. Colin White, he didn't play much in Binghamton with me because he was, I think, out of college after his year. But it's good. It's nice to see now when I watch the game. In fact, if I can pick up a game that the boys are playing, it's nice to see how well they're doing now.
You talked about not really wanting to be a number one. So your second year playing in Binghamton, you end up on a team with Zach Sortini. He ends up with like the 182 PIM. So is he kind of number one guy that year? Gives you a little bit more chance to focus on your game. I know you still had like 121 PIM, so you're still dropping your gloves and mixing it up. But him with like that extra 60, 70, is that just giving you a little break, letting you nurse the hands a little bit if you need to?
I think Zach in that time of his career, he didn't want to fight as much. So in the AHL, I didn't mind to be more known as the number one. I mean, it's kind of you're one step away from the NHL, you're one step away from your goal. So I was fighting quite a bit until my last season. But my the first time I got called up, I think in 38 game, I ended up with 100 and something PIM. I had I think 14, 15 fight during that small amount of game. But anything you can do to stay in that league and to dream about getting called up on the next level. So, but yeah, it was good to have Tortini and I in the lineup. We had also Mark Fraser.
Oh shit, he was a tough motherfucker.
Oh yeah,
jeez. Don't sleep on him.
No,
don't think he's a number 3 because he's not number 3. Like, that'll find you out real quick.
So I feel that year we had some good 1, 2, 3. We could all do the job. So and I don't remember which year it was, but I think we were leading the entire world for penalty minutes in that team. Like it was when Binghamton Senators came in town, you knew that was gonna be some action, and we kind of enjoy it. And we're not very good. We're not winning a lot of games, but we put a good show.
So Binghamton are affiliated with the Senators, right? Did you ever cross paths with that absolute beast, Chris Neal?
Oh yeah, I did a few training camp with him. Every summer I'll end up going to Ottawa to train for a week, and Chris was always there. He's intense. He's real intense. We'll play dodgeball before training just to loosen it up, and oh man, he was balls to the wall, just
Try to take
trying.
guys' heads clean off.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He was not going for the chest. He was going for your head all the time. But yeah, I think it's just his personality. He's just always 100% hard, just hard-nosed guy that make him successful in the NHL.
What's it like when you're in the AHL and you ultimately end up getting these young 18, 19, 20-year-old fucking kids that maybe just got drafted second, third, fourth round. Maybe they're not the first rounder that slots straight into the NHL. Maybe they need a bit of development. They're coming out of major junior. They're now suiting up with men for the first time. What kind of role do you boys and the coaching system kind of take in developing these lads? And ultimately you're going to better tell pretty quickly, like, this guy's not going to be here for very long. He's going that way. We need to nurture him. How do we go about it?
It's a business, so you need to understand that you're in the AHL, you're here to produce and to be there for the next level. If the next level is making all the money for the AHL to be able to run. So but as a player, it's hard to understand that, because you want to play well, you want to move up, you want to do your name, because next season it's going to be your contract who depends on it. But I think if the teams and the management explain it to you correctly, you need to understand that you're there to help the next young kid who's going to be the next prodigy in the NHL. So I think I was in the AHL as a little bit older guy when I finally managed to make the team. So I never had issue with it, but I know sometimes some players can have issues with.
What was the best cities to go on the road in the A? If you're doing like a pit stop and the boys get take their going out shoes, where's the kind of best towns to stop?
I mean, for us, I was playing in like northeast, so the towns are not that great, and normally it's just like day trip. You go, you come back, but every time we stop in Toronto, it was always a good. Especially we always had a few guys from Toronto, so it was always a good time to go out and good dinner to good place, and then we will all 100% go out. And then there was St. John, Newfoundland too.
I've heard that's
time there.
Unreal.
Yeah, good time there. So yeah, you go to St. John, Newfoundland, you're always there for 2 games. You're probably there for 4 nights. It's 4 nights you're going out. So
yeah, that's 4 and 4. Like that's a loose trip, eh?
Yeah, you're coming back, then you take the flight, that the 6 a.m. flight to go back. You have a few hours bus trip, and then everyone's just been sleeping the entire way because you're exhausted. And probably that's why Newfoundland's had a good record back then, because everyone just party for 4 nights in a row and then go home.
Always getting that second fucking victory in the 2-2, eh? They just win every second game ever, right?
Just to make it go smooth.
I love that. You obviously you had a really good stint in the AHL. What was the reasoning behind leaving?
My last season was tough. My last season we changed coach. I had Luke Richardson as a coach. Now
the tough guy, Luke Richardson, yeah, Philadelphia Flyers back there, yeah.
Yeah, now head coach with Chicago. Great guy. I really fit perfectly with him. And then we changed coach. We get a guy who, how can I put it? He basically came in the room and say, "I don't want any fighting." So you have Zach Tortini and I in that locker room that we can fight. Very different guy. I was now in and out of the lineup. They wanted to send me down in the ECHL. I think the assistant coach kind of blocked that transaction. But I was there before that coach came in. I was not a good fit with me. He wanted to get some skilled guys. Like I said, when a coach say, okay, no fighting tonight, just look him in his face and tell him fuck you. I mean, yeah, that's not gonna work. I'm not here to, yeah. So it was not a good fit. And then, well, you have a tough season. The other teams are not looking at you as much. It was hard to find another contract, and yeah, I just couldn't get anything really would make sense for me that year. End up
So
going to Wichita to get like a player coach opportunity to kind of start building my resume. So because at that time I think I'm around 30 years old, so I'm start thinking about the future, right? And it was a good time in Wichita. I mean, I enjoyed having that extra role to see what's behind those doors, like how to build a team and how to manage the practice and the transaction and the budget and all that stuff. It was very interesting, but I still had more years in me to play. I knew that, so I was not ready to make the jump as a coach full time.
when you did go to the coast then with that coaching opportunity, like you said, you wanted to concentrate on playing, but it must have made it quite attractive for you, given that you're in the A, to go down, get some coaching experience. Because did you ever think of that, like not right now, but in the future, maybe it's something you'd go into?
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. At that time, I thought I knew I wanted to stay in hockey, but I was like, you know what, coaching sounds pretty good. I think I have good eyes on it. I could do the job. Yeah, like I said, I didn't have any job opportunity who makes sense really at the AHL at that year. So I was that was the best offer I could get. It was like be player coach and play in the ACHL and get some kind of life experience to put on my resume.
Financially, what's it like for yourself when you're bouncing from the East Coast, then to the Elite League, then to the AHL, and then back to the East Coast? How different are the salaries, and how realistically do you have to approach the off season with what you're asking for in these different leagues?
I mean, from the A to the ECHL, and the ECHL, I was one of the highest paid guy. It was more than a half cut.
Yeah.
The EIHL, it's a little different because when I went back to the EIHL, I got someone renting my condo. I sold my car. I have no more insurance to pay. Now I got free living in the UK. So my expenses are dropped so much that even if I'm not making as much salary, at the end of the year, I'm still putting a good amount on the side because I have no expense. So, and the exchange rate, it was quite good too. So it's kind of, but EIHL, ECHL, I'm taking EIHL, no, money-wise, in a heartbeat. But AHL is always gonna be better than the two leagues.
What about when it comes down to professionalism? Easy for me to say, professionalism within the East Coast to the EIHL. Obviously, you played for the Panthers, which is one of the bigger clubs. They obviously have the fucking sick rink, and they have the whole match night thing. They have the big screen. So I get it's an arena team, but probably not representative of the league as a whole. But from where you played in the Elite League versus where you played in the East Coast League, how did it rank and how did it compare?
I mean, the rinks in the IHL, there's very little good rings, and then there's a lot of shitty rings. In the ECHL, they're all pretty good rings, to be honest. But at the level of professional, I mean, I always been treated so well in Nottingham. Goody always take care of the boys to make sure you're missing nothing. But for the ECHL, I played not last season, the season before for 2 weeks down in Adirondack, and it's went up a little notch. It's good stuff now. The guys are well treated. It's almost like the AHL, just maybe a little less budget, but they're not far off now. So I think everything kind of increases in terms of taking care of players and making their life easier. But like I say, in Nottingham, best ring in my opinion. Good locker room, and Goody, the trainer in Nottingham, just take care of the boys so well back when I was there. So I couldn't complain at all, and I'm pretty easy too. So I'm not a guy who needs certain things.
You're not a prima donna,
no. No, just
Funnily
give me
enough,
a
I
stick
actually
with
believe
my
that.
give me my stick and with a fairly pattern who looks like mine, and I'll be okay. So, but yeah,
Maybe getting to carry the old elbow pads out if you know you're going first shift. They just bring them around to the bench for me.
Been doing that too. But yeah, Goody was good. He's just take care of the boys so well. We make sure that you're well treated, you're comfortable, and but there's some arena in the EIHL that just made me angry every time I play there. So
which ones? Let's go. We need names.
Coventry for sure, Manchester, and Five.
To be fair to Fife, it's like a fucking 110 years old, man. Like it's gonna be shit.
That's why I should not be in the league. You know,
that's why he shouldn't be in the league. That's probably fair. Probably fair. Do you follow what's going on in the league at all?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Been keeping up with the recent signing in Nottingham. I mean, I'm following only Nottingham on Twitter and social media, but I'm keeping an eye on their season, what's going on with the team. Obviously, I think they had some tough years recently. They're starting again from scratch. It'll take a few years again, I think, to put where they want to be. But yeah, I mean, I always love my time in Nottingham, so I'm keeping a little eye here and there to see what's going on.
So you arrived to the UK in 2010 until 2013. Then you went back over the pond, and then 2018 until 2020. What I wanted to ask you was, in your first stint with being in the Elite League to your second stint with being in the Elite League, had the officiating improved?
Great question.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. It's not great, but I've never seen a league that is great. So, yeah, I think so. I think it is. I think they're making efforts to bring some old NHL referee to kind of teach the guys, but there's some shocking calls being made. I remember that. That makes no sense. Because sometimes the guys they look like they're clueless. But to be fair, I will not take their job. So I mean, it's kind of hard. And I remember having a conversation with Gary Moran about that. He was telling us that no ex-players from the IHL or the lower league wants to do the job, so they're stuck with the guys who been there for a lot of years. Are still more willing to sacrifice their weekend to do that job. So, I mean, I think if they want to increase the level on the referees, they're gonna have to bring some former players that they know the game, they can follow the pace, because the pace has increased the recent year.
Yeah,
I think that's the solution, but is it an attractive job? Hell no.
You finished your time. Obviously, we had a bit of a pandemic in the middle, but you finished your time in the Elite League. Pandemic hit, and then you end up taking obviously a couple of years out. You end up back in North America, but in the LNAH. What was your experience like playing in there? Obviously, it was a notoriously tough league, but with some really good ice hockey players mixed in as well. I was watching a little bit of the clips before. You chucked some nucks in that league.
Not much though.
No, what was his name?
Danik Paquet.
Yeah.
Yeah, you fed him his
playing the
nuts
league
pretty
too.
good.
Playing the IHL too. Yeah.
he was with Cock, right?
Yeah.
Was you
Yeah,
expected to fight there, or was there like chances of? I know because we've had McMorrow on, we'll have Morasti on, and the boys would talk about
yeah.
fucking yo, you fight tonight, and the big dog's upstairs. You're getting a little grand in a brown envelope. Was any of that going on for you there, or was it a little bit
Not
less
anymore.
shenanigans now?
Yeah, not anymore. It's the league is good. I mean, really good. The level that just increases with the pandemic, and a few boys like myself who came back in the team. We got one legit heavy per team who's on the bench doing the job. But beside that, it's good hockey. And the game with Pocket, we're in the final. He's been running around everyone. He gave me it was a hockey play, like shit happens. Then we decide to go, but I think I only have 4 fights in 2 years in that league. If I'm, yeah, 2 and none in the season this year, only 2 in the playoff run, and one was like a bench brawl. So pretty yeah, I don't get bothered really much in that league. I have my ice time. I'm playing a lot of minutes, so I can afford to go fight the fourth line guys who can barely skate and is only there to fight. So I think everyone's got a good respect of who's fighting who, and everyone show up on Friday. Everyone that's worked all week, we show up together on Friday. We got like a minivan here in north of Montreal. All the boys from north of Montreal, we meet up, get in the van, we drive, go there, play some hockey, then come back on the Saturday night after the game. So it's different league. It's good.
Good fun with the boys, yeah, when you're traveling that way.
Yeah, exactly. It's fun to still be able to play and like have your life on the side too, like your normal working life. But when you get to Friday, you're excited to jump on that van and go play some hockey.
What are the fans like?
Yeah, is it well
Not
supported?
bad. I mean, we in playoff we had like over 2,000 fans in the stands, and the arena capacity is about 2,400. So it's sold out a lot of places. During the season, it's a little less, but we're in small towns, small communities that there's not much to do. So people really enjoy coming to watch a game every week.
Is there guys that could comfortably step out of that league and perform exceptionally well in the elite league?
They could do well, yeah, for sure. We have a little dispute between our league and the ECHL because now there's a ECHL in Quebec, and before the dispute, the ECHL team was calling up guys from our league every week, and the guys were performing very well. I believe if we play against the ECHL team, the only difference is they practice every week and we don't. There's no practice in the league. We only show up and play.
No practice at all?
Oh,
never.
Oh, that's
never. Maybe
sign me up for that contract.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna lie. Friday first period on Friday is a little hard, but it's hard for both teams. Both teams haven't practiced, so it's just fair levels. Then you just manage to get to the second period, and then it's the level just increased.
What would you say the elite league's got to do to improve and take that next step to be taken seriously within Europe? Obviously, they've just announced that they're going to go with an extra import next year. We're seeing guys like Myers leave Nottingham, Phillips leave Sheffield. There's going to be big changes in the league.
Just gotta plug my computer because I'm gonna power. But
no worries, bud.
No worries.
Wipe my head because I'm sweating. Sorry if you're watching along. I'm sweating all over your camera. It's like 50 degrees in this room right now.
I'm in a thunderstorm, so I hope I don't get cut out.
Oh, Jesus, warm. Woo. UK's having a bit of a heat wave. Cool.
All right, we're on.
Happy days.
I think that teams need to increase their budget. It comes to money. If you want to sign better player, you're gonna have to offer a better contract. If they want to increase player budgets, I mean, they gotta be taking more seriously in Europe. They gotta perform better in the Champions League and everything. To be able to do so, you need more people in the stands. So I think right now they're kind of stuck of having a fan base that is loyal, but they need to increase it a lot to be able to kind of move up. It's a weird market, the UK, because you're still a sport that a lot of people don't know about. So there's place to grow the business, there's place to grow the sport, and the team should put a lot of effort to do so, I believe. Because as soon as someone put their feet in the ring for the first time at the arena, I mean, how can you not fall in love with that sport, right?
Yep. You nailed it. You said Champions League. Unfortunately for you, you left the year Nottingham after you won the Grand Slam, so you didn't get to take part in that. But when you came back, you did get to take part in the Continental Cup. What was that experience like for you?
It was cool. It was cool to finally play against our team in Europe. Because I mean, at some point after a few years, you're kind of sick of playing all the Coventry or Steelers and all the same teams. So it was fun to go play and kind of compete and see what level they are playing on the overseas. Obviously, my experience in Europe only been in the UK, so it was good to see what France looked like, what the Denmark teams looks like, and what kind of hockey they're playing. We're in a shitty town when we went to that Continental Cup, but it was a good experience.
Oh, I just thought of a question before we get to our cheesy ones to finish up. I asked you what the best city was to go out in the AHL. What about the best city to go out in the Elite League?
We never. The only time we stay away, it's
Belfast.
Yeah, Belfast and the Scottish road trip. So Scotland, forget about it. I never went out, and so for us, it only has to be Belfast. But
not a bad spot though.
No, good time there for sure. And you have a little circle on your agenda when the Belfast road trips comes, and you know where it is, and hopefully you win one or two, and then you can go hard in town. And but Nottingham is a fun place to go out too. So
yeah,
I was fortunate enough to have some good time there.
Where was your kind of spot? Where did the team go and hang out back then?
Back then, oh man. Well, my first 3 years we had deals at the Corner House. So it was like the revolution at Corner House. There was a lot of that was our spot, and then we had or I think it was Tuesday night. Steven and I always go on the Panthers box in town. It was good time. We show up at the workout on Wednesday a few times, and Corey would just look at us and like, "You two idiot, just go to sleep." And then like Steven and I would just go back to the arena, sleep 1 more hour for practice, be ready for practice. And I think that was like 2 good spots. Back in the days. It's been a long time already.
Well, obviously it's forever changing. Every time I go to Nottingham, there's something new popping up.
I know.
But ready to get in some cheesy ones?
Yeah, let's
All right.
Well, I was going to ask you the best player you've ever played with or against, but you've played against Sidney Crosby, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to ask you the best player you've played with.
Play with. I mean, there's a few good ones, obviously, in the AHL that I play with. The best one. I mean, Nick Paul right now is very impressive.
I'm a Tampa fan, so like I'm all up in that
Yeah.
game right now.
But when I play against him, he was not at that level that he is now. I mean, David Ling was so good at some what he doing, and I mean, the best goal scorer of you. It's hard to say it's not David Alexander Beauregard, right? So I don't know. It's a tough one.
Pretty good
There's
answers.
good player, different levels on every team. Yeah.
What about the best coach you've ever played for?
Luke Richardson for sure. Just a great human coach, close to his player. Hard but fair, and he just lead by example. I mean, yeah, by far.
Biggest beauty you've ever played with? Best kind of locker room guy. Who's the guy on the bus? Who's the guy in the locker room that's just fucking
But there's been a few.
gets you pumping at 8 a.m. in the morning to like get you boys going? Who's the guy?
Well, Linger is something for sure different. Good locker room guy. Rob Lacko is really good locker room guy. Oh, Lacko, yeah. I just talked to him yesterday when he sang in Glasgow, so I'm gonna go with Lack.
Yeah, that's a good one. And congratulations on the new contract, Lacko. Fucking love to
Yeah.
see that. Best teammate you've ever had?
I'm gonna go with my old roommate Stevie Lee. Always there to take care of all the boys. First one to be available to help a teammate.
He's fucking undercover funny as well, Stevie boy.
Oh yeah. We had some good times me and him. So yeah, I'm gonna stick with the UK guys. It's easier.
Biggest influence on your career? That was a pretty tough one, eh?
Yeah,
that's a really tough one. I mean, my agent helped me a lot during my career for sure. I had a coach in junior too, who kind of made me work on my skating ability as a defenseman. So I think without him, I probably wouldn't have the career I had, because man, he made me work on my feet every day at practice and over and over and over. When I think about all the drills we were doing after practice, I mean, it was a back skate every day, but it paid off. I ended up being pretty mobile for a big guy. So
especially the way the game was played in the later years, man. Like so fast. If you couldn't skate, you would have never been there.
You're never, nah. And yeah, I'm gonna go with my old junior coach.
Right, one more, Mark. Do you want to wrap us up here?
All right, then let's do it. Let's go with a story for the boys. Do you have a funny anything you like, a story that you'd like to share with us, share with the fans? Could be anything.
I mean, the story that I said before when I throw my helmet that goalie's face, that's always one of my good ones when I explain that brawl to the boys. And I feel every year there's someone talking to me about that brawl. I think anywhere in my league, the LNAH or anywhere in the street, like, I have seen you fighting in the internet. I saw that brawl, and I didn't recognize you because you had hair, but like, yeah, it was me.
It's funny because you came back, then you had no hair, and you came back, everyone was like,
yeah. I was standing out back then, but then I just decided like we have to accept it at some point. But oh man, nothing comes to mind right now.
That's a good one anyway. Yeah. Here's what I want to ask, because obviously the camera doesn't see it, and this is the first time I'm hearing about it. When you walk back in the room and you sit down, and obviously the adrenaline's going, the boys, when there's been a bench brawl, the locker room's about as high as it is ever going to be. Did any of the boys catch it, or did you have to go, yo, boys, did you see me square up the goalie with the bucket? Or
it's I didn't have to say anything. It just, I remember that's a funny story. Gary Moran came to the locker room after that brawl, and he's like, "All right, Penner, you're out. Lepine, you're out. Davy Graham, you're out." And Davy Graham is the coach back then, like the player, the bench coach. And someone said, "Who the fuck is Davy Graham?"
Oh, what a beauty!
But yeah, so I'm like, so I look at Gary like, "What did I do?" It's like, well, I kind of saw you throwing your helmet in the face of the goalie, so we'll keep that one quiet. Just take the night off, and then I'll manage to get that suspension off. And obviously, and after that, we saw that it was not on camera, so it's like, thank God that would have been probably a good one too. But I think only Gary saw it. Yeah,
The man that pays the bills, eh?
Oh, he was not too sad about it. He liked that shit.
Oh, I remember back in the day, Simsy told a great story about him and Gary Moran on his first time when they had the big brawl between the Panthers and the Steelers, you know, like stood outside the locker rooms getting told off by the refs and by the league and by fucking everybody. And the boys are like there for 3 hours working out penalties, and both guys loved it. But this has been absolutely fucking epic fun. I'm sure all the Panthers faithful and everyone else that have joined in is going to love it. We appreciate your time, bud. One final question. Are you going to go again next year? Are you going to be back in NNAH, or what's the plan?
Yeah. Well, I just changed job right now, so it might be hard to be full time to be there every game, but I'm definitely going to be there at least half the time and when I'm available. But yeah, I still have some hockey in me. Still did well last season, so might as well to keep it going and at least one more season for sure.
Love it. Well, ladies and gents, please do like this video, share this video, make sure you subscribe to 4000 and Counting. Ticketlab.co.uk. You'll be able to get your tickets for our charity game, which is Saturday the 5th of August. We're going to be raising money for the Royal Marsden Children's Cancer Charity, and my name is Dodie, the Dodie Weir Foundation, supporting motor neuron disease. Guys, girls, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe. Peace.